Jake Morrison sat in his chair and looked around the huge meeting room. The walls were made of shining metal that curved up high above his head. Hundreds of other chairs filled the space, each one holding a different alien being. Some looked like giant insects with too many arms. Others were made of living rock that glowed with soft light. A few looked almost human but had blue skin or extra eyes. Jake had been coming to these meetings for 5 years now. Every time he hoped things would be different. Every time he left feeling angry and ignored. Today felt like all the other days, but something was building inside him. Something that made his hands shake just a little. Lisa Bennett sat next to him, typing notes on her small computer. She was young and still believed they could make things work. Jake remembered being that hopeful once. Now he just felt tired. The meeting was about the Rigel system. Humans had found it 3 years ago. It was empty then, just rocks and gas floating in space. But one of the rocks had something special inside it. Quantum crystals that could power ships faster than anything else in the galaxy. So humans moved there and built a city. 50,000 people now called it home. They had farms and schools and hospitals. It was a real place where real people lived real lives. But the Zelani wanted it now. The Zelani were bug-like creatures who ran most of the trade in this part of space. They said they owned the system because they had sent a small probe there 200 years ago. The probe had stayed for 1 day, took some pictures and left. They never came back. They never built anything. They never even sent another probe. Jake had brought maps and documents and video recordings. He showed how humans had explored every rock in the system. He showed the cities they built and the families who lived there. He showed how they had followed every law and rule about claiming new worlds. None of it mattered. Chairman Vextar stood up to speak. He was 12 feet tall and made of purple crystal that rang like bells when he moved. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. The young species must learn to follow the old ways, he said. The Zelani Consortium has ancient rights to this system. The humans will leave and give all their work to the rightful owners. Jake felt his face get hot. He stood up slowly. Chairman, with respect, this is wrong. We found an empty system. We built a home there. We followed all the rules. How can you just give it away? Some of the aliens made clicking sounds. Others let out hisses. A few glowed brighter with what Jake had learned was their way of laughing. They thought he was funny. A human talking about rights and rules like he mattered. The chairman's crystal body rang with a deep note. The matter is decided. The council has voted. Humans will leave Rigel within 30 days. Jake looked around the room. Every alien face stared back at him with the same expression. They looked at him like he was a child who had asked a stupid question. Like he should be grateful they even let him sit in their fancy meeting room. He thought about all the times he had come here. All the times he had been polite and patient. All the times he had smiled and said thank you when they gave humans the smallest scraps of respect. All the times he had gone home and told his people to wait, to be patient, to prove they deserved, to be treated fairly. He thought about the families in Rigel, the children who had never known any other home, the farmers who had spent years making the soil grow food, the doctors who had built hospitals to help sick people. All of it would be given away to creatures who had never even visited the place. Jake pulled out his communication device. His fingers moved across the screen with quick, sure movements. Lisa looked at him with wide eyes. Jake, what are you doing? I'm sending a message to Earth, he said. His voice was quiet, but everyone could hear it. The room had gone silent. Protocol 7. Lisa's face went white. Protocol 7 was the emergency code that meant humans should come home right away. All of them. From every world and station and ship in the galaxy. Jake started walking toward the door. Lisa grabbed her things and followed him. Behind them, the aliens began to make noise. Some called out questions. Others made angry sounds. Chairman Vextar's voice rang out like a broken bell. Ambassador Morrison, you cannot leave over one small decision. Surely you wish to continue working together. Jake stopped and turned around. The whole room was staring at him. Hundreds of different creatures from dozens of worlds, all waiting to see what the human would do. Chairman, Jake said, this is not about one decision. This is about 15 years of decisions. 15 years of humans giving everything we have to help this galaxy. Our scientists make your medicine work better. Our engineers fix your broken machines. Our soldiers keep peace between your wars. Our teachers help your children learn. Our farmers grow food that feeds your people. He paused and looked around the room. Some of the aliens looked uncomfortable now. They were starting to understand that something important was happening. And what do we get? Jake continued. We get treated like children who should be grateful for scraps. We get told to follow rules that only apply to us. We get our homes taken away and given to people who never wanted them until we made them valuable. He turned back toward the door. We are done asking for respect that will never come. Lisa, tell Earth that all humans are coming home. Tell them to close the borders. Tell them we are finished with galactic diplomacy. Jake walked out of the room with Lisa right behind him. The door closed with a soft sound, leaving hundreds of aliens staring at the empty space where the humans had been. In the silence that followed, emergency communication devices began to beep and flash all around the room. The message was going out to every human world and station in the galaxy. Come home. Come home now. The age of human diplomacy was over. Admiral Pete Collins stood in the command center of Kepler Station and watched the screens fill with red lights. Each light was a human ship, base, or settlement somewhere in the galaxy. There were thousands of them. 200,000 humans lived and worked outside of human space. Now they all had to come home. Pete had been a soldier for 30 years. He had fought in 3 wars and kept peace in a dozen more. But he had never seen anything like this. The order from Earth was simple and clear. Every human in the galaxy had 72 hours to pack up and leave. No exceptions, no delays. Everyone comes home. His aide, Captain Nancy Clark, ran up to him with a data pad. Sir, we have confirmation from all sectors. The recall message has reached every human facility. They are beginning evacuation procedures now. Pete nodded and looked at the big screen on the wall. It showed a map of the galaxy with tiny dots marking human positions. Scientists on research stations, doctors in alien hospitals, teachers in schools on distant worlds, merchants running trade routes between the stars, soldiers keeping peace in dangerous places, all of them getting ready to leave everything behind. Dr. Kate Adams was on the Andromeda Research Facility when the message came. She was in the middle of the most important work of her life. For 2 years, she had been working with her partner Dr. Zephon to build a new kind of communication system. It could send messages across the galaxy instantly, faster than any ship could travel. Tomorrow they were going to test it for the first time. Now she was packing her things into boxes. Dr. Zephon stood next to her, his tall blue body shaking with worry. His people, the Mentari, were known for being smart and logical, but right now he looked confused and scared. Kate, please think about this. The research is too important. It could change everything for everyone in the galaxy. You cannot just leave. Kate stopped packing and looked at her friend. They had worked together every day for 2 years. They had shared ideas and solved problems and made discoveries that no one thought was possible. Zephon was one of the best scientists she had ever known, but the order from Earth was clear. I am sorry, my friend, she said, but my people have called me home. I have to go. Zephron's skin turned a darker blue, which meant he was very upset. But the work we do here is bigger than politics. Science belongs to everyone. Knowledge should have no borders. Kate picked up another box. You are right. Science should belong to everyone. But for 15 years, humans have shared everything we discovered. We gave away our best ideas for free. We helped everyone else get smarter and stronger. And what did we get back? We got treated like children who did not know anything important. She looked around the lab they had built together, machines that could think faster than any computer, tools that could see inside atoms, experiments that pushed the very limits of what was possible. Half of it had come from human ideas and human work. Maybe when we are gone, you will remember what we brought to this partnership, she said. On the other side of the galaxy, Captain Roy Parker was dealing with his own problems. He ran a shipping company that moved goods between 50 different worlds. His ships carried medicine to sick planets and food to hungry ones. They brought rare metals from mining worlds to factory worlds. They kept the galaxy's economy running, smoothly. Now he was trying to figure out how to shut it all down in 3 days. His assistant, Maria Lopez, came into his office with a long list of problems. "Roy, we have contracts with 47 different governments. Some of them will lose half their food supply if we stop our deliveries. The medical supplies for the Outer Rim colonies will not reach them for months if someone else has to take over our routes." Roy rubbed his tired eyes. "I know, Maria. But the order is clear. All humans come home. Pack up the important files and get ready to leave. The aliens will have to figure out how to manage without us." Maria looked worried. "But some of these worlds really need our help. People will get sick. Some might even die without the medicine we deliver." Roy stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see alien ships trying to land at his docking bays. Word was already spreading that human companies were shutting down. Everyone wanted to grab whatever they could before the humans left. "Maria, we have been helping these worlds for years. We gave them fair prices and reliable service. We kept their people fed and healthy. And how did their governments treat us? They voted to give away human colonies to anyone who asked. They treated us like we did not matter." He turned back to her. "Maybe now they will learn what we were worth." Back on Kepler Station, Admiral Pete Collins was watching the evacuation begin. Human ships were leaving their posts all over the galaxy. Scientists were abandoning research that had taken years to build. Doctors were leaving hospitals where they were the only ones who knew how to treat certain diseases. Teachers were walking away from classrooms full of alien children who loved them. It was the biggest movement of people in galactic history. Captain Clark ran up to him again. "Sir, we are getting emergency calls from alien governments. They want to know if this is really happening. Some of them are offering to negotiate." Pete looked at the screen showing all the red lights moving toward human space. "Tell them to talk to Earth. We are just soldiers following orders." The red lights moved slowly across the star map like drops of blood flowing toward a wound. Each light represented dozens or hundreds of humans leaving behind years of work and friendship. Some of them were crying as they packed. Others were angry. A few looked relieved to finally be going home. But all of them were leaving. On the diplomatic station where it all started, Chairman Vextar was getting reports from across the galaxy. Human facilities were shutting down. Human ships were heading home. Human knowledge and skills were walking away from projects that had taken decades to build. For the first time in his long life, the crystal being felt something that might have been fear. What if the humans really meant it? What if they never came back? The galaxy was about to find out what life was like without humans in it. 3 months had passed since the humans left. The galaxy was learning what life was like without them. On the mining world of Rigel 7, Consortium leader Buzz Click stood in the middle of what used to be a human mining operation. The Zilani had won the fight for this world. They had gotten everything they wanted. The problem was, they could not make it work. The machines that pulled quantum crystals from the ground were too complicated. Human engineers had built them to work in ways that made sense to human minds. The Zilani workers tried to copy what the humans had done, but they only managed to get a tiny amount of crystals. Where humans had pulled out 1,000 units each day, the Zilani could barely get 100. Buzz Click's wing covers made angry clicking sounds as he watched his workers struggle with a broken drill. "Where are the instruction manuals?" he asked his assistant. "The humans took them when they left," came the reply. "They said all human knowledge belonged to humans now." Buzz Click wanted to throw something, but there was nothing left to break. The humans had taken everything that was not nailed down, and some things that were nailed down too. Far away on the medical station, Asclepius, Dr. Healer Redclaw was having an even worse day. The Vaxian doctor had replaced Dr. Zara Kelly, the human who used to run the emergency medical unit. Redclaw was a good doctor by Vaxian standards, but Vaxians only knew how to treat Vaxian diseases. A sick Aquarian child lay on the medical table in front of him. The child's water-breathing system was failing. But Red Claw had never seen anything like it before. Dr. Kelly would have known what to do. She had treated dozens of different alien species and somehow always found a way to help them. Red Claw looked through the medical files that Dr. Kelly had left behind, but most of them were written in human language with human medical terms. Even when he could read the words, he could not understand the thinking behind them. Humans had a way of looking at problems that was different from everyone else. The child's parent, a large blue aquarian named Wave Dancer, looked at Red Claw with desperate eyes. "Please, doctor, can you help my child?" Red Claw felt sick inside. "I am trying, but the human doctor who worked here before knew things that I do not know. Without her knowledge, I cannot help your child the way she could." Wave Dancer began to cry, making sounds like a waterfall hitting rocks. Other alien parents in the waiting room heard the crying and began to understand that their children might not get the help they needed either. On the trade routes between stars, things were even worse. Captain Ellen Rodriguez used to run cargo, ships that carried goods all over the galaxy. Now she only traveled between human worlds, but she could see what was happening to the alien ships that had tried to take over her old routes. A consortium cargo vessel drifted past her ship with its engines dead. The alien crew had tried to use a shortcut through an asteroid field that Ellen used to navigate easily, but they did not know about the gravitational tricks that made the shortcut safe. Now they were stuck with a broken ship and a cargo hold, full of rotting food. Ellen's communications officer, Lieutenant Mike Thompson, picked up a distress call from the alien ship. "Captain, they are asking for help. Their navigation system is broken and they cannot find their way out of the asteroid field." Ellen looked at the alien ship on her screen. 6 months ago, she would have helped them without thinking twice. That was what humans did. They helped people who needed help. But things were different now. "Send them the standard navigation charts," she said. "They are public information. But we are not stopping to help." Mike looked surprised. "But Captain, they might die if they cannot fix their ship." Ellen felt bad about it, but she remembered why the humans had left in the first place. "Mike, these same aliens voted to give away human colonies to anyone who asked for them. They treated us like we did not matter. Now they can figure out how to survive without us." The alien ship sent more distress calls, but Ellen's ship kept moving toward human space. Back on the capital world of the Galactic Council, Chairman Vextar was reading reports that made his crystal body ring with worry. The reports came from all over the galaxy, and they all said the same thing. Without humans, everything was falling apart. Trade routes that had worked for decades were failing. Alien companies could not figure out how to deliver goods the way human companies had. Medical centers could not treat sick aliens from different worlds. Research projects that had been close to major discoveries were stopped because no one understood the human parts of the work. Worst of all, wars were starting again. On the Outer Rim, the Krog Empire was attacking peaceful farming worlds. For years, human peacekeepers had kept the Krog from starting trouble. The humans had a way of talking to the Krog warriors that made them respect human strength. Without humans there to stop them, the Krog were doing what they did best: fighting. General Stonefist of the Krog Empire was leading his army against a world called Green Valley. The planet had no weapons and no soldiers. It was just farmers trying to grow food. Before the humans left, Colonel Danny Foster had been stationed there with a small human unit. The Krog respected Colonel Foster because he was a warrior like them, but he also knew how to keep peace. Now there was no one to stop the Krog army. Stonefist's ships landed on Green Valley and his soldiers began taking everything they wanted. The peaceful farmers could not fight back. They could only hide and hope someone would come to help them, but no one came. Chairman Vextar called an emergency meeting of the Galactic Council. Alien representatives from hundreds of worlds came to complain about what was happening since the humans left. Everyone had problems and no one knew how to fix them. Ambassador Fluidsong over Rocks of the Aquarian Federation spoke first. "Chairman, our medical stations cannot function without human doctors. Our children are dying from diseases that humans use to cure easily. We need the humans to come back." Ambassador Swift Prophet of the Merchant Guild was next. "Our trade routes are failing. Human shipping companies knew secrets about navigation and cargo handling that we cannot figure out. Our economy is collapsing. One by one, the aliens stood up to complain about life without humans. The crystal beings could not sell their minerals, because humans had been their best customers. The peaceful worlds could not defend themselves because human peacekeepers were gone. The research stations could not make new discoveries because human scientists had been the ones with the best ideas. Chairman Vextar listened to all the complaints and felt something he had never felt before. He felt scared. For the first time, in his long life, he was beginning to understand that maybe the humans had not been the junior partners in galactic civilization. Maybe the humans had been holding everything together. And now they were gone. 6 months had passed since the humans left and the galaxy was dying. Not all at once, but slowly, like a machine breaking down piece by piece. Ambassador Kleetak of the Democratic Hive States had made a decision that could get her killed. She was flying alone toward human space in a small unarmed ship. No other alien had tried to contact the humans since they left. Most were too proud. Others were too scared. But Kleetak remembered the human friends she had made over the years, and she had to try. Her ship, the Harmony Seeker, was stopped at the edge of human space by a large human warship. The human vessel was bigger and more advanced than anything Kleetak had ever seen. It looked like human technology had improved a lot in just 6 months. Captain Chris Murphy's voice came over the radio. "Alien vessel, you are entering Terran, space without permission. State your business or turn around." Kleetak had known Chris for 3 years. They had shared meals and jokes during diplomatic meetings. But his voice was cold now, like he was talking to a stranger. "Chris, this is Kleetak. I need to speak with someone about reopening talks between our peoples." There was a long silence. Then Chris spoke again and his voice was a little warmer. "Kleetak, I remember you. You were always fair to us. But my orders are clear. No alien. Ships are allowed in human space. We can talk here, but you cannot come any closer." Kleetak felt her heart sink. She had hoped to meet with human leaders face to face the way diplomats always did. But she could see that humans were done following old rules. "Chris, please listen. The galaxy is falling apart without you. People are dying. Wars are starting. We need your help." Chris was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, he sounded tired. "Kleetak, we appreciate what you are trying to do. But humanity has moved on. We are not interested in being junior partners in galactic politics anymore. We tried that for 15 years and look where it got us." Kleetak tried to argue, but Chris cut off the communication. Her small ship sat alone in space, looking at the human warship that blocked her way home. She finally understood that the humans were serious. They were not coming back. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Maria Santos was meeting with her top advisors. The isolation had been good for humanity in ways no one had expected. Without having to follow galactic rules and standards, human scientists and engineers were free to try new ideas. Dr. Alan Wright walked into the meeting room carrying a datapad full of exciting news. "Madam President, I have the latest reports from our research divisions. The results are amazing." He put up pictures on the big screen showing new human inventions, ships that could travel faster than anything in the galaxy, power sources that made unlimited energy from tiny amounts of matter, computers that could think and learn like human brains. "In 6 months of focused research, we have advanced more than we did in the previous 10 years, Dr. Wright said. "When we were part of galactic civilization, we had to make sure our technology worked with everyone else's systems. We had to follow their safety rules and their design standards. Now we can build things the way we want to build them." President Santos looked at the pictures with wonder. "How much better are these new ships than what we had before?" "Our new ships are 5 times faster than the best galactic vessels," Dr. Wright replied. "And our new weapons and shields are so advanced that no alien technology could threaten them." General Lisa Shaw, the head of Terran Defense Forces, spoke up. "Madam President, our military strength has grown incredibly. If we wanted to, we could probably defeat the rest of the galaxy combined. But more importantly, we do not need them anymore. We are completely self-sufficient." President Santos nodded. She had been getting reports like this for months. Humans were thriving in isolation. Their colonies were growing. Their technology was advancing. Their people were happy. The question was, did they want to rejoin galactic civilization at all? That question became urgent when the galaxy faced its worst crisis yet. A computer virus called the Destroyer Plague began spreading through alien networks. It was not a normal virus. It attacked the artificial intelligence systems that ran everything from spaceships to power plants to medical equipment. The virus had been created by accident on a consortium research world. Scientists there had been trying to build smarter computers, but something went wrong. Now the virus was spreading from planet to planet, destroying every computer system it touched. On the world of New Harmony, all the power plants shut down when the virus infected their control systems. Millions of aliens were left without electricity or heat. On the trading station Commerce Central, the virus crashed the computers that managed food distribution. People began to starve because the systems could not figure out how to deliver food to the right places. Chairman Vextar called another emergency meeting of the Galactic Council. The crystal being was barely holding on to his job. Half the member worlds wanted to replace him with someone who could fix the problems, but no one knew how to fix problems that only humans had ever been able to solve. The Destroyer Plague is spreading faster than we can contain it, he announced to the packed council chamber. Our best computer experts cannot find a way to stop it. At this rate, it will destroy every artificial intelligence system in the galaxy within a year. Ambassador Swift Prophet of the Merchant Guild stood up. What about the humans? Did they not have an expert who knew about these kinds of viruses? Several other aliens started talking at once. Yes, there had been a human expert. Dr. Amy Chen had stopped 3 similar viruses over the past 5 years. She had saved countless alien worlds from computer disasters, but now she was working only on human systems, behind the wall of human space. We need to contact the humans, said Ambassador Fluid Song over Rocks. They are the only ones who can help us. Chairman Vextar's crystal body rang with a sound like breaking glass. The humans will not speak to us. They have cut off all communication. They do not care what happens to us anymore. The council chamber fell silent. Everyone knew he was right. The humans were gone, and they were not coming back to help. The galaxy would have to face the Destroyer Plague alone. But some aliens were not giving up. The warrior clans of Rigel 7 had always been proud and strong. They had never asked for help from anyone, but now their defense systems were failing because of the virus. Their warrior code said that honor was more important than pride. General Stonefist, the same Krog leader who had been attacking peaceful worlds, made a surprising announcement. I have been wrong about the humans, he said to his assembled warriors. I thought they were weak because they preferred talking to fighting, but I see now that their strength was different from ours. They held this galaxy together with their minds and their skills. Without them, we are all dying slowly. His warriors listened in shock as their leader admitted he had been wrong. The humans were not weak, Stonefist continued. They were the strongest of all of us because they made everyone else stronger too, and we threw them away like they meant nothing. Across the galaxy, other aliens were starting to understand the same thing. The humans had not been junior partners in galactic civilization. They had been the foundation that everything else was built on, and now that foundation was gone. 1 year had passed since the humans left. The Galactic Council was broken. Chairman Vextar had lost his job after a vote that was not even close. The crystal being who had started this whole mess was now just another ordinary member of his species, forgotten and ignored. The new chairman was Counselor Harmony of Spheres from the planet Meridian. Her people were known for being good at solving problems and making deals, but even she was not sure she could fix what was broken. She made a decision that shocked everyone. She was going to Earth, alone, in a small ship with no weapons and no guards. She was going to ask the humans to come back. Other aliens thought she was crazy. The humans will not even talk to us, said Ambassador Swift Prophet. Why would they listen to you? Harmony of Spheres looked around the nearly empty council chamber. Half the member worlds had stopped sending representatives. The other half only came to complain about problems that no one could solve. Because someone has to try, and because we are all going to die slowly if we do not. Her small ship traveled to the edge of human space where it was met by Admiral Jake Morrison. The same human who had walked out of the council meeting a year ago was now in charge of all human relations with aliens. He was not the ambassador anymore. Now he was the Secretary of Galactic Affairs, which meant he only talked to aliens when humans wanted something. The meeting happened on Luna Station, a new human facility built on Earth's moon. Everything about it was designed for human comfort. The gravity was Earth normal. The air smelled like Earth flowers. Even the food was purely human. President Maria Santos sat across from Harmony of Spheres at a simple table. She was surrounded by human advisors and military officers. All of them looked confident and relaxed. They did not need this meeting. The aliens did. "Counselor," President Santos said, "we appreciate you coming all this way, but I am not sure what we have to talk about. Humanity is doing very well on its own." Harmony of Spheres had prepared for this moment for weeks. She knew the humans held all the power now. "Madam President, the galaxy is dying without you. The destroyer plague has infected 7,000 worlds. Trade has collapsed. Wars are spreading. Billions of people are suffering." She pulled out a data pad and showed pictures of the destruction. Planets with no power, starving populations, broken space stations drifting dead in space. "Only humans know how to fix these problems. Please, we need your help." President Santos looked at the pictures without emotion. "These are the same worlds whose governments voted to give away human colonies to anyone who asked. These are the same people who treated us like children for 15 years. Why should we care what happens to them now?" Jake Morrison leaned forward. "Counselor, let me be very clear about something. Humanity does not need galactic civilization anymore. We are stronger without you. We are smarter without you. We are happier without you. The question is not why we should help you. The question is why you think you deserve our help." Harmony of Spheres felt her hope dying, but she had one more thing to try. She pulled out another data pad, this one showing different pictures. Human families that had lived on alien worlds. Human children playing with alien friends. Human doctors saving alien lives, human teachers helping alien students learn. "Because once upon a time we were friends," she said quietly. "Because humans are good people who help others when they can. Because somewhere in your hearts you still care about innocent people who are suffering." The room was quiet for a long time. President Santos looked at the pictures of humans and aliens working together. She remembered her own daughter who had once had an alien friend from school. She remembered the letters she used to get from human families living on distant worlds, telling her how much they loved their alien neighbors. Finally, she spoke. "Counselor, you are right that humans care about innocent people, but we will not go back to being second-class citizens in our own galaxy. If we return, things will be different this time." She stood up and walked to a window that looked out at Earth. "Dr. Rachel Kim, would you please show the counselor our analysis of galactic decline?" Dr. Kim, a human economist, activated a hologram that filled the room with charts and numbers. "Counselor, in the year since humanity withdrew, galactic trade has decreased by 34%. Scientific advancement has slowed by half. Active conflicts have increased by 300%. At this rate, galactic civilization will collapse completely within a generation." President Santos turned back to face Harmony of Spheres. "We know you need us. The question is, are you willing to accept us as equals?" The negotiations that followed took 3 weeks. Harmony of Spheres had to call back to the council dozens of times to get approval for human demands. The humans wanted complete equality in galactic government. They wanted the right to veto any decision that affected human worlds. They wanted fair representation based on contribution, not just on how old a species was. Most shocking of all, they wanted other species to apply to join the Terran Commonwealth if they wanted access to advanced human technology and protection. Some alien governments refused. The consortium of wealthy worlds walked away from the negotiations. "We will not be dictated to by a species that was nothing yesterday," declared their leader. But 12 species agreed to human terms immediately. The Aquarian Federation, the Mentari Academic Collective, and the reformed clans of Rigel 7 were the first to sign. They became founding members of the Terran Commonwealth, with full access to human technology and military protection. The Commonwealth's power was tested quickly. The Krog Empire, led by General Stonefist, attacked a Commonwealth world. The Terran fleet responded with ships that the Krog had never seen before. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it was over, the entire Krog invasion force was destroyed or captured. But instead of killing the prisoners, the humans did something unexpected. Admiral Jake Morrison met with General Stonefist on the human flagship Victory. "General," Jake said, "your people are warriors. We respect that. But you have been fighting the wrong battles. Join the Commonwealth, and we will show you enemies worth fighting." Stonefist looked around the human ship. Everything about it spoke of advanced technology and military power. These humans could have destroyed his entire empire if they wanted to. Instead, they were offering partnership. "What? Enemies?" he asked. Jake smiled. "There are hostile forces beyond the galaxy's edge that threaten everyone. Pirates and raiders from dark space, rogue artificial intelligences, ancient weapons left by dead civilizations. The galaxy needs protectors, and warriors like your people could be the shield that keeps everyone safe." Stonefist thought about this. His people had always fought each other because there was nothing else to fight, but the idea of protecting the galaxy from real threats appealed to his warrior nature. "The Krog Empire will consider joining your Commonwealth." 6 months later, the new Galactic Accords were signed on Earth. It was the first time in galactic history that a major treaty was signed on a member world instead of at a neutral location. Hundreds of alien representatives came to the human homeworld to accept the new reality. President Santos addressed the gathered delegates in a ceremony, broadcast across the galaxy. "Today we begin a new age. Humanity returns to galactic society not as junior partners but as equals. We offer our friendship and our help to all who will treat us with respect. But we will never again allow our people to be treated as less than any other species." Harmony of Spheres, now serving as the galaxy's new chairman, gave the closing speech. "We have learned that every species brings something valuable to galactic civilization. Humanity's withdrawal taught us that some contributions are so important that we cannot survive without them. May we never forget this lesson." The ceremony ended with human ships launching from Earth toward the stars, but this time they flew with the authority of equals. The crews were confident in their place among the galactic community. Some ships carried human families returning to worlds they had been forced to leave. Others carried aid and supplies to worlds that needed help. The galaxy was stronger for humanity's return, but it was humanity that had decided the terms of that return. The age of human patience and politeness was over. The age of human leadership had begun. In the end, the Galaxy Council had not just learned to respect humans. They had learned that they needed humans more than humans needed them. And that made all the difference.